We all have dreams of impressing our friends, family, and foes with the most delicious, show-stopping dessert. Today I'll share my secret tips and tricks to help you achieve that goal. Softer than pillowy soft, with the perfect balance of warm aromatic spices and a shimmer and a glimmer from a bath in a sweet and simple glaze, I'm confident that my recipe for hot cross buns will not disappoint your taste buds. If this sounds like a good plan, let's start baking! In the bowl of an electric mixer, I'm adding 3½ cups of all-purpose unbleached flour. If you're already concerned because you do not have an electric mixer, do not fear. You can use the same kneading technique I use on my hub spread video. Actually, both recipes are very similar. Next, I'll add a 1/4 cup of powdered milk. Brand I'm using today is Dairy, which I brought from Trinidad 2019 when I last visited. I'm adding 1/2 cup of raw brown sugar. You may use white sugar if that's the only thing available to you. I like using the brown sugar because it contributes to the rich color in the final product since we're not using any coloring in this recipe. Next, I'll add 2 eggs, and I did try this recipe with 1 egg and I found that the result was too bland and not tasty enough. And these are pasture-raised eggs, which I happen to have a lot of at the moment, but any egg will do. In the background, I'm watching and listening to my hub spread video because, as I said before, that recipe was certainly a winner and I wanted to adapt a few of the techniques from that to achieve a nice fluffy hot cross buns. In the Caribbean, the common belief is that this white bit contains a lot of the freshness from the egg, but as you can see, it is very challenging to remove. It took me about a minute to do so. Using a spoon would have been much more effective, but I was already using a fork and I'm doing all the dishes, so that's that. I'm adding 6 tablespoons of good quality melted butter to 1 cup of lukewarm milk. Next, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon along with 1 teaspoon of grated nutmeg and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cardamom. You may add or decrease according to your preference. I did try with half the amount and the result was also bland. Next, I'll gradually add the whisked eggs. By adding 2 eggs, you will also develop or enhance or elevate the color, eliminating the need to add any food coloring. Next, I'll gradually add the milk butter mixture and knead until the dough comes together. Take note that I had about 2 tablespoons of the milk left, so I'll make the adjustment in the printable recipe. Once the dough comes together, set the timer and knead for 10 minutes. And I'm kneading on level 1 because my mixer will not allow anything else. In one of my earlier testing, I added too much milk, but that will be rectified later on. After 10 minutes, add about 1/2 cup of chopped raisins, which is optional, and knead for a minute or 2. Kneading with the raisins will infuse the flour with more flavor. In this batch that I'm making, my daughter asked me not to add any raisins. In another batch, she asked me to add chocolate chips. And here's how to save the sticky version. Just add all-purpose flour or plain flour, 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon at a time until it's slightly sticky. You should not encounter this problem because I'm giving you the exact measurements. Hi Bixby, set the timer for 20 minutes please.
Starting the timer for 20 minutes.
Oil the top of the dough, cover and allow it to proof for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we'll knead the dough for exactly 1 minute, just like in the hop spread video, by folding in the dough towards the center. And you'll repeat this for 1 minute or about 50 times. And whether you use raisins or not, the technique is still the same. This is the most amount of energy you'll have to expend in the entire process. It gets much easier from here. Once again, oil the surface of the dough, Cover and allow it to rest until it's doubled in size. Usually takes about an hour. Next, we'll make that lovely glaze I talked about. Half cup sugar, quarter cup water. Dissolve. Once the sugar is dissolved and it comes to a rolling boil, we'll take it off to heat and allow it to cool. After an hour, the dough should have doubled in size, and do keep in mind that it takes longer in a colder climate. If you don't allow it to proof long enough, your buns will be very dense. Now we'll divide the dough into 16 pieces and form each into a ball or loya. You can divide the dough using a pizza cutter, or you can continue dividing each piece of dough into 2 until you have 16 balls. There are always many ways to achieve the same result. And if you wanted to get technical or precise, you can certainly use a scale. Take each piece of dough, fold it up to the top and pinch to seal, and then roll until it becomes a nice round ball. When your dough stretches out like that, that's a good indication that it's going to be nice and soft and pillowy. For me, this technique involved a little more work because you still had to pinch it at the top, but I think the results were just a little better, softer and fluffier than the other technique we used where we pulled the dough up to the top, pinched and sealed. Now is a good time to start preheating your oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Place the dough on a 9x13 prepared pan, cover it and allow it to proof for another 30 to 60 minutes. While the dough is proofing, it's time to make the icing. After all, it's hot cross buns and not hot buns. Here I'm combining about a half cup of powdered sugar along with heavy cream, and you may need 2 to 3 tablespoons to create a spreadable consistency. I don't expect you to go out and buy a box of heavy cream just to use 2 tablespoons, so milk is a good substitute. Now is also a good time to get your pastry brush and that syrup ready. In the meantime, you also need to mix 1 egg with about a tablespoon of the heavy cream or milk. And we'll brush that on the dough to help create a lovely color when it's baked. I placed the dough to proof in my porch under the direct sun because it's a bit cold indoors. Now I'll brush the egg mixture gently over the dough. We'll place the tray in the middle rack of a preheated oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 177 degrees Celsius, gas mark 4, and bake for 25 to 30 minutes or until lovely golden brown, light and fluffy, and fully cooked. And your house smells heavenly. Now I'll brush the syrup on the buns while they're hot. And because my husband likes his glaze a little extra sweet, I'll glaze it 2 or 3 times, using most of the glaze we prepared. While we're waiting for the buns to cool to pipe the icing on the buns, let's enjoy these beauties. They are absolutely fantastic, simply irresistible. Softer than pillowy soft and splendid in every way. I just need to get a bite into my mouth. Waiting for these to cool might be the most difficult part of this entire recipe. Even the doggy is getting very excited. Place the icing in a ziploc bag or other piping tool if you're a professional, but I'm not. A ziploc bag is going to work for me today. And create your cross. I am sure we will all be forgiven if we don't create perfect crosses due to the building excitement and a little bit of impatience. And that's all there is to it, my friends. A little bit of quality ingredients and a whole lot of love. Thanks so much for joining me once again. Happy Easter, my sweet friends. I love you all. If you wish to show your support and appreciation for the work I do on this channel and blog, give me a huge thumbs up and leave me a comment below. Kindly share this video with your friends, family, and social media community. If you try this or any of my other recipes, leave your feedback under the video so that others can benefit, and tag me on Facebook or Instagram. I love seeing your pics. And do subscribe if you wish to be a part of the Cooking with Ria family. Until next time, stay safe, be well, cook, share, and love. Bye bye.